What's happening, YouTube? It's Jeff Manchester here. You'll notice recently on the channel there haven't been that many Let's Plug videos. This is mostly because nothing out there in the audio world, at least recently, has tickled my pickle. It's been remake of classic compressor S and emulation of classic equalizer B. No one's really pushing things forward. Well, that kind of changed because iZotope released Neutrino, which is a brand new plugin. It's not a compressor, it's not an equalizer, it's a spectral processor. What it does is it applies low ratio compression across the frequency spectrum. And the compression is very granular and dependent on the kind of audio that's passing through it. I know this might sound like Japanese to a lot of people, but this is a kind of new way to push DSP forward, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what other applications iZotope finds for the spectral shaping processing. They're already using it in their intelligent release controls for the award-winning Ozone, so now they've extended it to this new little plugin, which is free, I should add. Go to the website, get it. It's free. We have a quadrant here. Voice, instrument, drums, bass. I'm not going to be using any of this stuff. What I mean by that is a lot of people are reviewing this plugin and, they're just like showing it what it sounds like with a bass and with a guitar, with drums and vocals. And to me, the real test of a plugin is how it sounds when instantiated on unconventional instruments. What it sounds like when it's brought outside of the box, outside of its, the thing that it was designed to do and to test. So, for example, I have an instrumental cue here. This is sort of a big cinematic piece. I'll play it for you. I've got Neutrino instantiated across every instance here. And then once I play it for you, we'll jump back and I'll sort of introduce the plugin on each one of these tracks and we can hear exactly what it's doing. And I should add, you have to have good headphones or a great room and some good monitors. You're not going to really hear the effects of this plugin on your phone or on laptop speakers. All right? Okay, Christmas music, light family fare. This is really basic stuff. I didn't do too much. This not that much went into this cue, so it's just sort of a simple thing. Anyway, bottom line is I have the drums here. Let's solo them and let's have a listen. This is Native Instruments Action Strikes, by the way. It's a couple years old, but people sleep on it. They go to more expensive stuff. This sounds great. Check it out. Neutrino's sleeping. Nothing's happening. Before I turn it on, I want to bring something to your attention, a little mixing tip, and also a tip for people who are using this Neutrino plugin. Some of you might be like, it doesn't sound good, it's a saturator. It's not a saturator. The reason it might sound like a saturator or it's adding distortion or whatever, it's because you have it instantiated incorrectly. It should appear at the end of your signal chain, okay? You'll notice I have contact. The library, as I said before, it's Action Strikes. It has built into it all kinds of compression and equalization and kind of stuff. And then I have a saturator, then I have an EQ, and then I have Neutrino. Neutrino should fall at the very end of your signal path. That's really, really important. I'm going to solo the drums, and let's bring a little bit in at a time, and let's see if you can hear the difference. Okay, I'm just going to stop it here. I don't want to talk when I'm bypassing things. Listen to how things open up. Listen to how the drum track almost takes a shot of espresso. It wakes up. Things sort of sparkle and shimmer a little bit, especially in the high end. And the hits on every downbeat, the dum, 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 2, 3, 4, duh, those kind of, they're accented. They're more pronounced. Listen again. Bypassed, turn it back on. Okay, so what I like about this is the effects are subtle. I mean, I've already done my signal processing. I like the reverb, I like everything else. I don't necessarily want to add distortion or anything. I just want things to pop and things to sound, I guess the keyword here is balanced, and that's what Neutrino does. In my opinion, if your ears are good, if you're in a good room, you have good headphones, you'll hear that the sound is becoming balanced. Neutrino, in my view, is looking at the most interesting aspects of this audio event and deciding, you know what, let's push this up, let's push this down. I think it actually achieves this and achieves a kind of overall balance. Back it off. Sounds a bit dull. Now let's add compression across the spectrum. See, the space just opens up. Okay, let's move on to the strings. Really basic stuff, big swells of strings. Let's turn the amount up to about 70%. There we go. Bring it in slowly. Versus this. What I like about this is it's kind of serendipitously removed a lot of the low and mid kind of muddiness from the strings. And those, you know, I say serendipitous because those, the action, the muddiness, the bass, that's coming from the drums. So I don't want the strings to clash with that. So again, getting back to this notion of balance. Things are top heavy. The drums have room to sort of pound and thud. And the strings now kind of come alive a little bit. Let's solo both of them. Off. It's subtle, but you got to hear it. As opposed to that. You hear the difference? I'm cascading this potentiometer here dramatically just so you can get the difference. I don't want to do A, B after like every 10 seconds because you won't perceive it as well. I should also say that just because it says instrument here and these are strings, try voice, see if it changes things at all. I'm hearing a whole different tone. I'm hearing the mids accentuated and more pronounced. Before, yeah, a mids and upper mids, more intense. I might leave it there. Let's do the violin now. Let's have a listen to it in solo. Neutrino is off. This is weird harmonics, Bohemian violin, by the way. Bohemian, it's very Bohemian. Let's turn it on. Again, the air, it opens up. Bypassed. Unbypassed. You really have to listen for it. I'd say it's in the 10K, 12K, 13K range, maybe 9K. Hear that? You really hear the bow gliding across the strings. Sorry, I keep talking, but I really want to point this out to you guys. Okay, now it's 80%. Hear the difference? So when we change notes, when we move to different sounds in the instrument, in my view, we're getting the physicality of the instrument. We're hearing the player play. And if you're doing sample library stuff, if you're doing cues for film or whatever, using MIDI as I am, that's so important. You want to hear the physicality come through because that adds to the authenticity of the performance, even though it's just you writing notes in MIDI. So Neutrino sort of brings some physicality to MIDI, which is kind of cool. Let's go to the Woodwinds here, which are very bassy. So you know what? I'm going to put the little bass preset on, but not before I play it for you. Unadulterated by Neutrino. Let's just play it sort of on its own. Okay, that's nothing on it. Let's put the bass on, and let's do the same thing we were doing in all the other ones. So I'm hearing a presence increased in the mids, a little bit more at the top end too, and we've reduced some of the muddiness to kind of bring a kind of presence to the winds, which I like. And again, the drums are plenty muddy. The drums are going to carry the low energy for this piece, so I'm okay with what Neutrino's sort of doing here. Off. Bring it back on. There's the air, there's that top end. There's that 60K that only cats can hear. Hear the difference? Okay, that's Neutrino. It's free. Get it. Why not? That was it for Let's Plug. If you have any other things you want me to plug or talk about or review, let me know. Leave a comment, blah, blah, blah. Like, share, subscribe. iZotope. Good company. Great company. Good people. See you later. Bye-bye.